Vijarudi vile. Asante, karibu.
Hello, my name is Sebastian Liduke. I work with Tigo in mobile financial services.
Asante sana. So I already have a switch for you. Yeah, one of you is a backbench and one of you is... Well, we'll talk. Karibu.
Asante. Hello, everyone. My name is Rose Chimilila, and I'm an independent business development consultant, and I consult international companies who are looking to invest in Tanzania.
International companies looking to invest in Tanzania. Wow. Karibu sana. Yes, Joe, you had to have an intro.
Somebody wants to sabotage me. Okay. My name is Joseph Manirakis. I'm from HDIF. Karibuni sana to Innovation Week.
Asante.
Hi, my name is Gloria Nas. Okay, my name is Gloria Nassar.
Like, seriously, we didn't hear a thing.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joachim Chua, service assurance specialist from Tigo.
You are
Business. Joachim Chua.
What do you do?
I'm a service assurance specialist.
Service assurance specialist.
Yes.
Wow.
From Tigo.
Karib sana. From?
Thank you. From Tigo.
Okay.
Yes, my name is Abdallah Mabuga, coming from Tigo and Tigo Business.
Okay. Tigo Business. We will get to learn a little more of the products today. Karibu.
My name is Precious Kachenje from NMB Innovation Lab. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is George Katoto, Operations Support Manager from Tigo. Thank you.
Asante sana. Karibu.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jacqueline Nunduma from NMB Innovation Lab.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Justina Njambi from NMB Innovation Lab. I like that.
Yeah. Kabisa yani.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
My name is Regina. I'm from Kasole Secret. I'm the partnership officer.
You're from?
Kasole Secrets.
Kasole Secrets.
Yeah.
Are you going to reveal some of the secrets? There won't be a secret anymore. Karibu sana. What do you do?
Partnership officer.
You do partnership. What Kasole Secrets does? Do you hide secrets for people?
Oh, no. It's a company that produces and sells placentary birds.
Okay. That's the secret. Right there. Karibu.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aidan. I work with PACT as a communications and knowledge management specialist.
Asante sana. What does PACT stand for? It's not a job interview, be rest assured. Karibu.
It's not an acronym.
It's not, okay.
It's a name. Yeah, my name is Mariana Balampama, Country Director, PACT, Tanzania. Asante.
Karibu sana, Mariana. We'll have a privilege to learn a lot about PACT through you today.
Good day, everyone. My name is David Omo from Tigo, the Acting Chief Commercial Officer.
Asante sana. Asante sana. Did we skip anyone? Are we good to start our program now? Do we have the right vibe, the right time, the right people? Karibuni sana. We are going basically to hello. Thank you so much. Asante sana. Good afternoon once again, and thank you all for being here. We shall now commence officially our program. And this afternoon, we are looking onto how technology advancement can enhance business efficiency. And thank you all for being here. The essence of doing the introduction is basically to see our organization, ourselves. We have consultants in the house. We have business people, we have data, we have scientists, we have architectures, how we all fit into this context. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite Miss Kadambara Maita, who is the head of sales and marketing, Tigo Business, to come and do the introduction and probably expand a little more onto why we are here this afternoon. A round of applause to her, please, as she comes to the podium. Asante. Karibu.
Asante sana, Austin. Thank you so much for coming here. We are so excited to have all of you in the room. Good afternoon. We have to do better than that. Good afternoon, everyone. One more time. Good afternoon, everyone. I know we've just had lunch, a lot of ugali, so everybody feels like sleeping, so we need to wake up. But as he has introduced me, my name is Kadambara Maita. I'm the head of sales and marketing for B2B from Tigo. I am very honored to be here, and I'm very honored that all of you have come here to join us. Today, we're talking about technological advancement. We will take you through what technological advancement has done, especially for Tanzania, because we want to keep it very close to our market, how technology has evolved over the years in the telecommunications sector, how that has impacted communities, and also our community and also businesses overall. We have a diverse panel of speakers, and to start with, I will introduce Simon Karikari. Please join us. Simon, I'm pretty sure most of you know. He is the CEO of Tigo. Thank you, Simon. We also have Mariana. Mariana is the country director for PACT. Thank you so much for joining. So she'll be bringing in the perspective from the NGO and how technology has impacted communities, especially the marginalized community. We also have Samir with us. He is the CEO of Celcom. Karibu sana, Samir. We have Emmanuel Malia. Emmanuel Malia also works for Tigo, and he is the Chief Technical Officer for Tigo. Thank you. And lastly, we have Josina. Josina is from NMB. She's the head of innovation and development from NMB. Thank you so much. And our moderator will be Austin, and I will be handing this over to Austin. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much. A bigger round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Asante sana. Now, I'm not sure if, in as much as we want the camera to capture this very informative event, but I'm not sure if we can do with the obstruction. Can we ask them to move on one side? Yeah? Can you figure out something? Probably move to either of the sides so we have the space in the middle. Thank you very much. Simon, good afternoon. And to my very wonderful panelists, good afternoon to you all. And thank you for being here this afternoon. Simon, I understand that we'll just go into the questions. I could use the other mic. Can I have the other mic? Unless I have to run and pass the mic. Yes, please. Can we have the mic for my panelists, please? So as the microphone is coming, Simon, I totally understand, and I'm happy to say that Tigo was the first mobile operator in Tanzania. We are looking on to 1995. I stand to be corrected, but it has evolved over the years. Do you want to briefly take us through that journey and how, as part of your evolvement to where you are today, you've actually been able to enhance business efficiencies?
No, thank you very much, Austin. So you're right. I mean, Tigo was the first mobile operator in Tanzania. We started as Mobitel. I think a lot of people here remember, but you know, if they say yes, then they give up their age. So, but we've been in the market for over 25 years now. And I think we started. I mean, Tigo really started as a player in the coastal part of Tanzania, mainly in Dar es Salaam. and it was really a 2G network. And I think in the last few years, the business has really evolved to a national player. So now we have footprint all across the country. I think our coverage is about 87% of the population at the moment on 2G. We have about 65% on 3G, and also around 30% on 4G. And we've evolved our business to become to do a number of firsts. So we were the first operator in Tanzania to launch 4G, for example, because of our sort of faith and the way we see technology, that we want to be the first one. We will also be able to get better access to our services. So we try to make sure that our services are in the local language that most people can understand. So we also launched Facebook. We helped Facebook launch Facebook in Swahili. We brought into the market Swahili smartphones. We were the first to introduce things like bundles in the market. You know, today everybody talks about bundle. You know, it's actually Tigo brought the bundles to the market. The whole idea of getting the usage of mobile phone democratized to a small level. So we were able to get customers who had only 500 shilling to spend to also be able to start their mobile connectivity journey and join Tigo. We are the only network in Tanzania with a tier 3 data center. We have a very strong mobile money platform. I think if you look at what we've been able to do in the financial inclusion space, it's really quite remarkable. Today, we connect over 9 million customers on mobile money and really driving financial inclusion in Tanzania. So we've evolved from, you know, the Dar es Salaam player 25 years ago to where we are today, a very strong number 2 player in the market with strong coverage and really also driving innovation in Tanzania.
Thank you so much. Mariana, just to pick up from where Simon has ended, with such, you know, advancement in technology, what does that entail to you as Pact Tanzania? What does it mean to you?
Thank you. Pact is an international NGO that works with communities, really the last mile societies. And to reach there really requires access to technology. Really requires access to technology in the way our organization operates. For instance, we work with over 50 local organizations where we are constantly in collaboration around finances, technical information, and especially in the era of COVID in the last 2 years, just to ensure that we are able to deliver seamlessly during this time. But looking also at how our communities are able to enhance their economic capability and their viability in general, we are happy to have been collaborating with Tigo already in ensuring that our communities who have small saving and lending groups are able to access an app to enable them to operate in a better way, which means that their business as a group is enhanced through technology. It is safer, but we also create employment because there are people out in the community who work in supporting the groups to operationalize the app, and they are paid by the groups. In that case, these people who are around 20,000 already all over the country are able to gain an income through enabling technology at community level. But we are also looking at the fact that going forward, we see our community also utilizing more technology in terms of business operations and really enabling small businesses to grow. The safety and reliability of technology in terms of transactions, we think is the way to go. And for us is also a challenge that we could also continue to resolve in the sense that, yes, the groups conduct operations within the groups digitally, but their individual businesses are still conducted through cash money. How do we move to that level to enhance the groups, you know, to utilize technology and mobile money in their business transactions will remain key. But also in our collaboration with the government, we've seen massive technology changes recently. For instance, we work with the Ministry of Health, Community Development, Gender, Elderly, and Children. And part of our work is supporting health facilities to ensure that clients are served better. Reaching those facilities that are remote sometimes is difficult, logistically, etc. But now the ministry has developed an app, a supportive supervision app, where we are enabled digitally to reach out to those partners to say, how are you doing? How can we support you? Where is a need that we can solve? And I think that will become continuously important because our role ultimately is to reach those populations that are otherwise unreachable. And technology that is sustainable, that is cost effective, and that is easy to understand becomes very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Samia, over to you. Tigo has evolved from, you know, in the past we used to send money, like from me to you, you to me, you can still send even now, be rest assured. But now they're not looking onto peer-to-peer anymore. They're looking onto they are actually not looking, but they are now a financial service provider. As Celcom, how would you briefly explain the growth, the innovation into the financial sector using the mobile phone? And how does that look for the future? Because I know Tigo and other networks that are present have not been able to tap the entire market in Tanzania. Unlike Kenya, for instance, we've had last year, 2020, Simon, you'll agree with me, M-Pesa in Kenya contributed to 6% GDP of the country. Do you see that happening in Tanzania with the innovation that Tigo is putting through, with the likes of Pact enhancing these services to the customers? What's your take?
Austin, thanks for the question. It's a very broad one, but it's also one that's quite relevant. I've known Tigo all my life. I think, okay, that's not accurate, but I'm not that young. But as soon as I came back from university, my first internship was with Mobitel at the Lugoda offices. And at that time, Tigo's SMSE, basically the server that processes SMS messages, used to sit under my desk. And it was a Sun box, and literally that thing generated so much money sitting by my feet. It was crazy. But that's how far it's come, right? From a very small, focused operation that, again, you said was very much focused on DAR. We used to generate prepaid pins on a spreadsheet and then load them into the system so that people would be able to redeem them. And every time the server froze, we'd have to go and reboot that Sun machine to start processing those prepaid vouchers again. I think Tigo's come a long way, so have all the MNOs, but so has the industry as a whole. And generally, I think Kenya is a really bad example to compare ourselves to, because I think by value and volume, this market is probably ahead of Kenya already. It's just that it's not dominated by a single player. And that's fundamentally something that's stifling growth for some of the other entrants who want to participate in the market and to grow the economy. I think Tanzania will get there. Tanzania will go beyond. Something that I personally feel has restricted our growth in terms of financial services, penetration, consumption. The general growth of the economy is that Kenya is predominantly English speaking, and a lot of the content on the internet is in English. So consuming that content when it comes to education, coding, coders, people who want to enhance their knowledge base can consume that information a lot more readily because they already speak English as a first language. We don't necessarily have that advantage here. It's changing. A lot of content is being converted to Swahili, and therefore it's more accessible, I think. But that's one of the main things that we lack as a society today. But I think in terms of the potential, I think we have a much better population. We have accesses to better resources. We're more geographically better placed in terms of providing services both inland and to other markets. And technology today is, before, I would say 10 years ago, I would introduce my company as an IT company. Today, every company is an IT company. You need IT in everything. You're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a fisherman, anything and everything you do needs IT. And the likes of Tigo, the likes of all the other infrastructure providers in the market today are actually going beyond all means and bounds to make sure that they're enabling the infrastructure as quickly as possible. I think one of the things that we don't appreciate enough is that companies like Tigo are not appreciated enough because they're constantly hitting a glass ceiling whereby the demands of the customer are constantly changing. we used to have really, really bad bandwidth. And then all of a sudden we connected to CCOM and we got better bandwidth. And all of a sudden, instead of compressing your file and zipping it before sending it, you would email it the way it is. So instead of sending a 50 KB file, now you're sending a 2 MB file. All of a sudden, the MNO needs to now catch up with that demand because the customer wants a better experience. As that experience grows, there's a demand on infrastructure. Infrastructure requires investment. Investment means that if you don't have a paying customer who's paying for a first-class service, then you'll always suffer. And for that reason, I think we don't give them enough credit, that they're constantly trying to keep up with consumer demand, and they continuously invest their retained earnings into the business so that they provide a world-class service. I had a boss who used to say, you can't wear a cheap Rolex. If you want to wear a Rolex, you need to pay for a Rolex. Yeah. So if we want a first-class service and consume that service, then we need to pay top dollar for it. So I think that's my view.
Before you pass on the mic, just to understand, Tigo has been the first mobile operator in Tanzania, probably in the world, to bring products such as the Swahili smartphone. You know, Tigo is the first one to bring that into the market. But not only that, the Kitochi smartphone. But not only that, I'm saying this, and probably to finish, the Facebook in Kiswahili, which has brought a lot of users of Facebook, you know, through Tigo. The second bit, or the second part of my question was rather, where do you see Tigo taking Tanzania in the innovation space, considering the theme for Innovation Week this year being inclusive digital economy, innovation for a resilient and inclusive digital economy? With that, you know, Tigo coming up with all this innovation and all that, where do you see Tanzania next couple of years?
I think the likes of Tigo, the likes of Air Tanzania are key enablers for the economy, right? So if you if you look at Tigo, it's a great example, but a better analogy is Air Tanzania. Air Tanzania doesn't need to be profitable. It just doesn't have to lose money. It just has to be able to provide you the infrastructure for you to be able to move within the country, move cargo within the country, to be able to provide the rails for logistics, transport, and the movement of people and goods and services. And as a matter of that, even if the ticket that you pay or the fare that you pay for Dar to Mwanza is not making you money, the fact that that person traveling will generate an economic gain onwards, so that whatever business they generate will result in taxes and in employment and in opportunities for others to actually generate more revenue and increase the GDP of the country. Tigo, in the direction that it's going, the technology that they provide, the infrastructure they provide, the mobile financial services that they provide are actually enablers for commerce and enablers for the economy to grow. So generally, the infrastructure they're building is absolutely important for the economy to grow in a certain direction. And it's only upwards and onwards. Where we are today, I think a lot of movement of funds are facilitated, and a lot of commerce that's facilitated is because they've invested and actually made that effort to make sure that financial services, communication services are accessible to the common Tanzanians. So that's
they have invested and made that commitment. Can we put our hands together for Tigo Tanzania, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much. Maybe Emmanuel, over to you. Can we understand, or can you highlight when we speak about communication network coverage in Tanzania, what level are we looking at here in Tanzania as a chief technical officer for Tigo?
So far, from the statistics which have been provided out by the government, we're estimating around 94% of population coverage so far in Tanzania. And with this, Tigo has done quite a lot on its part, as part of its share. And generally, Tigo has done, like Simon said, we have done already 87% of our 2G coverage. We are around 67% on 3G coverage and around 30-35% on 4G coverage. So with this, basically, we have put out the technology, and we are continuing to put the latest technology to enable the businesses to impact the economy. But we still need to do quite a lot more. And there's quite a lot of underserved community today, which we have already partnered with the government so far. When it comes to UCSAF, Universal Communication Access Fund. So we still have a lot of these communities and villages which have not yet been covered. And with a partnership with the government, we've been able to move out to more than 1,000 villages. And with these 1,000 villages, we're still looking forward to ensure that we take further communication with the partnership with the government. And currently, what we are evaluating together as MNO in general, we're looking at reducing further costs so that we can actually take communication further to rural, further to the community which are underserved. And you know, we as MNOs, we're actually taking the communication where it makes sense. So partnering with the Universal Communication Access Fund, we're able to get some subsidies. And with these subsidies, we're able to reach them. But for me, again, when I look at the communication in general, especially on the data, for me, still the internet penetration today, looking at the country, is still at 43%.
It's still at?
It's still at 43%.
43%.
So we are sending out the 3G and 4G out there. The companies are investing, but yet the community is not yet enabled to have the smartphones, right? So in that way, you have the technology out there, but people are not able to actually tap into that technology. So we need to go further. And to go further is basically, we need to enable the community. We need to subsidize the people. We need to have partnership with the government, with NGO, with whatever, and ensure that we send out smartphones onto the market and ensure that we tap actually this.
Maybe, Emmanuel, on the same note, on the very same line. So there's a gold mine out there, but we are unable to tap onto it.
Exactly.
While the world is evolving already to 5G, we are talking about 3G and 4G. Do you think Tanzania is ready for 5G if we've not fully explored 3G and 4G?
Yeah, so for me today, when I look at the current networks that we have already deployed, the speeds that we have, they are more than enough, right? But we cannot say that we do not need 5G. This is a new technology. The world that we are going over to is a world of automation. And with the world of automation, you will reach a time whereby you are seated at your office and you can turn off or on the lights at your home. So basically, if we do not embrace it, we will be left behind. So for me, we need to embrace it. We need to embrace the new technology. We need to take it. Tanzania is ready. We are only waiting for the regulatory environment. In my perspective, Tigo is ready, and we're ready for 5G.
Wow. Happy to hear. We'll get to get the testimony again, or the words from Simon, words of wisdom, I call them. Maybe to hear from NMB, Josina, the head of innovation development at NMB. When Tigo is talking about, you know, moving from P2P, peer-to-peer money transfers into financial inclusion, into offering a whole package. Yeah, we've seen the bundles, but they've gone beyond just offering bundles and SMSs and mobile data, etc. But you know, they're providing the service in totality. The banks. And I'm happy to learn that this innovation for NMBs is managed by you. But what does all this good news that we've had on the frontier mean to NMB in terms of, you know, how do you embrace now the investment that Tigo is putting, the infrastructure, into enhancing banking services onto our mobile phones?
Thank you. Thank you, first of all, Tigo, for having me around and having a banking person in this conversation. But one thing I think that we should appreciate is how technology advancement has changed all our lives sitting here in this room. I think all of us would recall the times that it was explained here where we were sending money through our buses to get to the mother. So my mom lives in Moshi. I would have to send money through Kilimanjaro bus for it to arrive. So one thing for me that is very important is that banking sector has managed to transform because the telcos have given us that platform and the opportunity. So movement of funds is now done digitally. So you can now move money from your bank account to a mobile wallet by simply dialing either a short code or going to an application. And that's a huge transformation from a banking perspective. I think if you go to Europe, banks still don't really use mobile money or mobile platforms or mobile channels as much as we do in Tanzania. So our adoption in terms of the banking sector is really huge. For NMB, for instance, at the moment, we're looking at 93% of our transactions happening outside the branch network. And all of that is done through technology advancement and more importantly on the mobile phones. Our customer base on mobile using mobile channels is around 70% of our total customer base, and we are at 4 million, which is really huge from a banking perspective. In terms of accounts being opened outside the banking hall, we're looking at 70% of that. That's a huge transformation. If you go into Europe right now, you would still find people opening accounts through internet over the laptops. But for right now, for us, we're talking about self-service, where a customer can just do it through their mobile phones by dialing a short code, as I said, a USSD, which is very simple language for somebody to actually understand and adapt as well. So we've done and we've transformed quite heavily. In terms of values that we're moving through our mobile and our digital channels, we're looking at 400 increase from the last 4 or 5 years. And that's a huge transaction value. You know, we look at banking halls as the set of what banks used to be, but right now that's no longer the case. So what are we doing in terms of in the future, what are we looking for in terms of partnership with telcos is continue to offer, yes, peer-to-peer transactions. That will never go away. So we continue to leverage on that and making sure that you're able to do your transactions safely, securely, from a bank into a wallet, but also from a wallet back into a bank account, very safely. But also more importantly is business to business. For me, that's very an exciting place where we are really supporting SMEs and MSCs. I was sitting next to an MSC here and I'm asking myself, how do they transact? And through these platforms, we're able to allow SMEs to move money into their accounts, but also to transact within their accounts. Our capabilities of offering platforms or QR codes, for instance, I know Solcom's doing quite a lot of that, Tigo is doing a lot of that. We've got a huge interoperability and the connections that allows customers where you have money in your bank accounts, you can then transact and pay a merchant who has just a QR code. And I think that for me is a huge transformation for us in Tanzania to be sitting and saying we have moved ahead and we've pushed forward quite a lot. So what I'm looking forward to is that they continue to invest because we are relying on that investment. And then we'll continue to leverage and create solutions. For us, really, it's about looking outside where we've not touched a lot. So I love that we have someone from an NGO here. So the group's proposition, so you've seen that we've done a proposition through a USSD shortcode again on Pamoja, where we're allowing people within groups to be able to open an account, check their transactions, whether you have an account with NMB or not, as long as you dial that shortcode, you're able to actually check and be able to see who else has contributed within your groups. That capability of really bringing more and more people that are in the informal financial sector into the formal sector is really what we're relying, and we're relying that in the investment that is done within the telecom sectors. We've also looked at to do insurance services where you're able to save small amount of money using your mobile phones as well, partnership with NHIF, so the government is really behind us as well. Making payments, collection of payments, you know, tax collections, all of that is only done through the technology that we're looking for from the telco. So as banks, we're not left behind. We're really running, we're catching up, but we're also working in terms of partnership. I think the most important thing for a digital economy to work is partnership and collaboration. I really don't see banks doing it on their own or only telco doing it their own or fintech doing it in their own. All of this has to be done within collaboration.
Powerful. Talking about partnerships, Simon, Tigo has launched and is promoting e-schools. But again, I learned recently that you have the mobile birth registration. So there's a lot of investment that you do in partnership, business to business or business to consumers. When we talk about investment, why do you innovate toward that direction? You know, what challenges, what opportunities, rather, should I say, are you seeing in that direction? In the same line, our friend Justina said, in lines of partnership. Please, Simon.
Thank you very much. So, I mean, in our industry, we sort of, we start with a purpose. I mean, that's what we've always done as Tigo, as Millicom. And our purpose really is to connect everyone. I mean, that is our really focus. So to build that infrastructure base to allow everybody to communicate. So, our first focus is access. I mean, today, what we want to achieve is access. We want to make sure that everybody everywhere in Tanzania can have access to a mobile network. And that is what my colleague Emmanuel was talking about in terms of our coverage, what we are doing with the government in terms of rural coverage and making sure that every community can access, building more towers, putting more base stations, and putting more equipment. That's where most of the investment is going. So far in the last 10 years, we've invested about 1.4 trillion Tanzanian shilling into our network to make sure that people have access.
1.4 trillion.
1.4
million. 1.4 trillion.
Tanzanian shilling.
Tanzanian shillings.
Yes.
Okay.
Into our network to make sure that people have got access. I think the next thing that we want to do is usage. Once you give people access, then you have to find a way to get them to use the access that you've given. So some of the innovative things that we're bringing on board is for example, what we talk about as smartphones. I think we launched, I think you mentioned, we launched Kitochi, which is a smartphone that is less than $20. And the purpose of this is to make sure that communities can start their digital journey, get access to work, get access to connectivity, and start to use connectivity. So that's the first thing. That's the next thing that we do, access, making sure that people can use smartphone. And here, we're looking forward to working with the government on things like taxes and subsidies to make sure that more and more people can get access. Because the more people have access, the more people have usage, the more they're going to use the banking services that Josina talked about, the more they're going to use the payment channels that Cellcom is working on, and the more they can, the NGOs like PACT can continue to support them. I think the next thing is making sure that things are also affordable. I mean, we also have to bear in mind that we are in a community where incomes are, we've just achieved middle income status. Incomes are still quite low. We're not a higher income economy. So we also have to make sure that we package products in a manner that people can afford it. But that said, we also have to make sure that, that we pay for the network. Samia mentioned that, we are like Air Tanzania. We're not like Air Tanzania, to be quite honest. We really want to make a profit. And so we have to package our products in a manner that people can continue to make profit. So all our investment decisions, we go through sort of these three big pillars to make sure that we continue to innovate. In terms of the innovation space, I think what we are trying to do, like I already mentioned, is that we want to make sure that everybody has got a mobile phone. And therefore, what we look at on the mobile side is that when you get a mobile phone, what are you going to use a mobile phone is? So we're doing a lot of work on content and partnering with other people to bring content to Tanzania. I'll give you an example. During the last World Cup, more people watched the World Cup on their phone than on the television set. And that is quite remarkable. Usually, you will go and stand in a bar somewhere and watch the game. But we were able to bring, through our partners with either Azam TV or with Star Times, we were able to bring the World Cup onto people's mobile phone, and that allowed more and more people to be able to access such content. I think the next area that I'm personally very excited about is financial services. And that's where a lot of the innovation is coming from, not just from ourselves as Tigo, but from banks and from fintech also supporting us. And here is where I think partnership is key. Banks are always going to be there, and I call it we co-compete. We collaborate and compete at the same time as well. Banks are always going to be, they are going to be the best places for people to store their value, all right? You and me will always keep our money in the bank because there's a nice shiny building, and you go to bed sleeping thinking that the money is still in that place. But when it comes to getting more people to use services, getting services at a much lower level to most of our communities, I think that is where the fintechs and the mobile money operators can really transform that space. And we've already seen in Tanzania how well we've been able to transform this space into economic development. I'll give you another practical example. Today, we collect on behalf of the government, on an annual basis, we collect close to 500 billion shilling on government payments, which is people paying for their luku, people paying for their council services. In the past, that was not possible. That revenue, the government could not collect that revenue because the method of paying was not existing. And we've created this method of paying to allow, through the connectivity with GPG, people can continue to pay these services for the government. So I see a lot of that innovation and a lot of collaboration, happening in our sector. And as Tigo, we want to play our part. As an MNO, we want to play our part. We want to continue to invest. We want to continue to partner. And we want to make sure that we take Tanzania, sort of the digital space, really to the next level. I just also want to just slightly comment on the point that you made about Kenya. Very much in line with what Samia said. You know, Kenya is quite a, I think Tanzania is ahead of Kenya in terms of the mobile money space. And the reason for that is that Kenya, you're looking at mobile money, or actually the fintech space, through one barometer, which is what Safaricom is doing, what M-Pesa is doing.
Correct.
Whereas in Tanzania, the field is very exciting. I mean, it's multipliers, multiple fintech, multiple collaboration, multiple innovation, and products are coming from everywhere. And through this competition and collaboration, it means that the next product is always better than the last one. And people continue to build on top of that and build on top of that and do all that. So it keeps everybody on their toes. The banks are innovating, the Celcoms and the fintechs are innovating, the MNOs are innovating. So for me, I think this space in Tanzania is really, really exciting, and I think we are quite ahead already to compare to Kenya.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Simon. For those of us who did not know, Tigo was the first company in Tanzania to bring 4G. Okay? Can I get a round of applause for that? Awesome. And Mariana, just to get, please write your questions down from this, one or two other questions from me. Then it will be your turn if you have any questions. But Mariana, bringing all this investment in Tanzania that Tigo is doing, the health sector, which you very well, you know, you've grown in that sector. What does that mean? How does the health sector then leverage to the investment in the very same lines of partnership, collaborations, etc.? What's your take on that?
Thank you. I was reflecting on Samir's statement around a first-class service, and what does this mean to different customers or consumers of technology. And I would relate it to three levels. You know, I mean, Simon was speaking about value, affordability, etc. It's about selling experience and how is technology enabling a good experience to its various users. And I would say the first level that we have to continue looking at in the health and beyond is innovation, as is the theme for this event. How do we continue innovating in various spheres? And for me, innovation, being a community-based organization, means segmentation and adaptation to various groups. Again, what does a first-class service means to our moms in Sengerema district who sell honey? What would be affordable or attainable for them as a service in health, but overall well-being? And here I would like to highlight two particular groups that I think of great potential going forward, just as game changers in the community. And the foremost is youth. We work with a lot of youth automatically because, you know, Tanzania is a young population generally. Over half of our population is young people. And reaching these people is through technology. That's where I think most digital inclusion currently exists, but there's still a lot that needs to be done. There are many issues within the community, health or otherwise, that need to be addressed. And by continuing to leverage technology, I think we'll be gaining a lot of miles than, you know, the past of gathering people in a group, explaining this, that. And the second group, I think, is women. Various studies have shown that women are actually the economic holders at household level. Men are there, not to offend any men in this group, but women really hold the helm in terms of how money is spent. And studies have shown that when a woman is a recipient of any financial support in a family, positive changes happen and better outcomes happen at household level. So how do we, again, innovate and segment our market to target women to ensure that there are better health outcomes, but also general well-being outcomes at community level? I think in the sense of what the digital future holds in for us, I think needs to look at those granular details and avoid, you know, blanket products or blanket services that might not be bridging that digital divide. As Simon was speaking, you know, in the advent of Tigo, I remember that actually my first SIM card was Buzz GSM. I still even remember the card. I don't remember the year, but I mean, over time, I still retain that number over years, but it has evolved a lot. And Tigo, you know, had a reputation by then that was, you know, the affordable network, you know, the students network, the rural people network, which I think was an interesting niche. So I think capitalizing on that remains important. But finally, I'd like to just refer to one of our biggest funders is USAID. And the tagline for a country strategy is the journey to self-reliance. How do we make all this sustainable? In the sense that whatever products or services that we create are able to continue and be adapted by the community. For instance, us training this, we call them livelihood volunteers, volunteers at community level who helps the group to say, when you meet, I'll come with a smartphone and there's an app there, I'll help you do your transactions and you will pay me. And I operate within 10 groups and they pay me a monthly allowance that enables me to sustain my life. I think those kinds of solutions will remain critical because in the end, it's sort of a flywheel. What you've started will continue trickling down to community level, and the profitability that you expect to have, I think, will become with lesser effort. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I would like to run through a quick other fact about Tigo. Tigo has employed more than 300,000 people, directly and indirectly, and is being referred as a digital lifestyle brand. So when you talk about digital lifestyle brand in Tanzania, you're basically talking about Tigo. So thank you very much, Tigo, and keep up the very good work. I will now invite a few questions. We have about 20 minutes to get questions from the audience, but as well as I do a wrap up. Do we have any questions from the audience? This is our time, or I will continue with my questions. I never run out of questions. Please pass the mic. And Samia, Tigo has, you know, as we mentioned before, moved from P2P to a fully fledged financial services where you can actually get a loan. You can also do savings through Tigo, but also they have a micro insurance as a package onto their network. But you can also do international money transfers. You can do government payment, just as Simon has just said. You do 500 billion shillings of government payment, merchant payment, etc., etc. Tanzania, you know, being in the middle income state, do you see us going on to an era where probably we're going to be cashless into our economy, and probably my dear sister Jacina from NMB will also say something about that. Is it a good thing? Is it an in thing, or is it a threat, and especially to the banks where they want to see money flowing inside like that?
No, I think it's a good question. That's like the pipe dream, right? Everyone wants to see their economy becoming cashless as quickly as possible. No, so it's very possible. I think over a period of time, as people get more and more comfortable with transacting electronically, you create more touch points, you create more acceptance across the board. It's a journey. It's also a behavior change, especially on the merchant side, where they still see charges or digitizing or collecting electronic payments as an expense. So I think it comes down to the fact that we need to as an industry educate the consumer base as much as possible to see the benefits of digitizing payments. One of the key things is that while it may cost you a little bit to go digital, it creates a track record of your transactions. It creates a credit history for you to be able to then be able to borrow from the likes of not just the banks, but also the telcos in terms of bullet loans and working capital loans on an ongoing basis. So I think it's one of those things that will evolve, and it takes time. The rest of the world, apart from Tanzania, because we're COVID free, benefited a lot from COVID-19. And if you travel anywhere beyond Tanzania, contactless payments or QR payments are mainstream now. Very few people actually use cash. We didn't see that, and for us personally as Celcom, we saw an increase in digital payments around March, April, May, and then as soon as we were declared COVID-free, it just dropped. And as a result, people just kind of fell back and said, okay, we don't need to be careful. We don't need to prevent handling cash. Similarly for e-commerce, it's a similar thing. The entire globe benefited from e-commerce because people stayed home and started ordering everything that they consumed to deliver to their homes, and as a result, their corresponding component is electronic or digital payments. So I think we'll take slightly longer, but I think with the introduction of platforms such as TIPS, the Tanzania Instant Payment System, that will bring costs of transactions down. I think it will bring some guidelines and will give the industry a floor and a ceiling in terms of what should and shouldn't be charged. And as a result, I think that will promote digital payments at the mass market level. But we're headed in the right direction. We're seeing a month-on-month growth. People are getting more and more comfortable with it, and they're asking for digital payments. And at one point, you'll probably see a point of inflection where the hockey stick will happen, and everyone will participate quite willingly. But it'll take time. It needs a lot of education, for sure.
Thank you very much. Jacina, the very same question. We have Tigo investing into, luckily Simon had mentioned it, collaborators, competitors, those lines. But when everyone now feels very comfortable, banking through the mobile phones, and we do not have cash in hands anymore, is it a plus to you as a bank? Do you like to see many people coming into the banks, queuing up, depositing, withdrawing, or you're very okay? And I'm asking you now, not as Josina, but as the head of innovation. Are you happy with the investment that Tigo is doing to as far as mobile money and all this technology is concerned?
I think I'll answer it both from a personal point of view and from a bank point of view. Personally, I think I'm one of the people that never walks with any cash. You will never find me with cash anywhere. I think it starts with an individual for us to really drive a cashless economy. I believe as well we have to do it together as a country. From an NMB perspective, that's our dream. Our dream is to not see the coins and notes that are within the branch networks that we have. They're very expensive. I don't know if a lot of you know about the cost, but I think BOT normally shares that. The cost that we take to move cash around is really, really high. So the faster we move to a cashless economy, the faster it will be, the cheaper it will be for all of us, from a business perspective, from an individual perspective, because now we can really look to charge less and less money because there's less money within the economy, but also the more it becomes more efficient, more secured, everything is a plus. So for us as a bank, that's a dream. A dream is to drive a cashless economy. And I believe through technology advancement where telcos are investing, fintechs are investing, we're investing as banking, we need to get there. We need to get there faster. It takes time, but the world has already moved there. They've taken advantage of the corona pandemic. We need to do it faster. We need to do it differently. We'll have to do it our own way. So we have to really sit down as banking association, the telco association, with the tips coming through very, very fast, really be able to adapt it. So I'm urging everybody to start doing it from an individual perspective. Look at yourself and see, why do I need these notes in my bag? If I have money in my mobile network, if I have money in my bank, then I should be able to pay through the QRs that are all over everywhere. If not, ask the merchants. Let's go to our kiosk every day and say, can you have a QR next time so that I can come back and scan? I think that should be our approach. Let's ask our border to do the same. Let's ask our tax savers to do the same so that we change the economy. It starts from all of us as individuals.
The future, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very digital. Do we have any questions from the audience? Yes, there's a hand at the back. And as that hand is coming, Malia, you will tell me. We're discussing how technology advancement can enhance business efficiency. And I would really like, Simon had mentioned about the data center. I understand you have a 3-tier certified data center in Tanzania. They're about 10. So you will tell us what those are and how they're enhancing business efficiency here in Tanzania. There's a hand at the back. Please, your name and straight to the question. If it's a general question, if it's specific to anyone, please let us know as well. Karibu.
Thank you. My name is Boniface. I like the panelists because it has some key players in the market, in the ecosystem, from the bank, fintech, as well as the telco. One of the things which hinder the adaptability of the technology is the cost to it. So, for example, right now, if I want to withdraw my money, if I have my money at NMB Bank, I want to go and buy some potatoes in cash, I will have to withdraw from my bank account to my mobile wallet, then withdraw it again, and then to go to pay cash. So along the way, there is a huge cost. Yesterday, for example, one of my very close friends said, I'm withdrawing all my money from my bank, and then I'll be using it as I need it. So my question is, you as a being key players, for example, in the mobile money, fintech, how do you see you will contribute so that to make sure adaptability of digital will be less costful and easy to be adapted to the people, to the end user? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So if I got his question, the costs that, I wouldn't call them hidden. Samir, you'll help me if I'm not using the right word. I wouldn't call them hidden costs, but transferring money from the bank onto your mobile phone and from your mobile phone to pay the merchant, there are costs involved, probably more than a bus fare to go to the bank and withdraw money. How do we, as the future is very digital thanks to Tigo, how do we then cut this cost so we make it inclusive to everyone? Maybe Simon, would you like to answer that, and then we'll come to NMB, and anyone could chip in into that. Is there any other question from the audience? Okay, please, Simon, Karibu.
So I think there is a lot of friction cost in the process, as you mentioned, and what we're working very hard, all of us, as fintechs, banks, to reduce that cost. And I think the first thing that we can do to reduce that cost is that first, don't withdraw that money. Like my colleague said, we're moving towards cashless, so we don't want people to withdraw that money. So what we are building is, for example, what we just launched as Tigo or Lipa kwa Simu, which rather than withdrawing the money, just go to the merchant and ask for more money, pay with the mobile.
Can we have better microphones at the front?
That is I think that is the first thing that I would urge everyone to do. The next thing is what we are doing in terms of collaboration. So one of the things that Tanzania market has also brought down the cost of service is interoperability. So today we've been able to, as MNOs and banks, we've been able to connect with everybody. In the past, you will have to walk to the bank, withdraw your money from the bank, take it to a wakala, put it into the wakala, and then send it to somebody who also have to withdraw it and send it to somebody who is on another network. So the process was very, very expensive. And through the collaboration that we're talking about here and the inclusion that we are talking about in the theme this week, we've been able to have interoperability among all the MNOs. And today we also have interoperability among all the banks. I can send money to NMB, NMB can send money to us. So those are some of the big things that we are doing to bring down the cost. I think the third thing is also we have to get more people to use the service. In our business, there is a fixed cost. There's a fixed cost in building the infrastructure. The more and more people use the service, then that means that the cost per unit, the individual, goes down. So we're also trying to do that, to get more and more people to adopt mobile money services, more and more people to adopt digital services, and that will, in turn, bring the cost down. So my answer to the gentleman is that please bear with us. We are getting there. Every year, the cost is coming down, and very soon, actually, the cost will be very, very, very low per transaction.
Thank you very much. Simon, would you like to contribute to that?
So I don't have anything much to add. Simon has answered all, but one thing I think that I can add as well is we're also adding more distribution. So the only way to make it cheaper is to really have a lot of us as individuals to be able to adapt into these technologies as fast as possible. Because we really want that person that is selling potatoes to also be able to take a digital payment. And that's the only way we can fast track. So I'm urging everybody to be able to start asking and say, please take a digital payment so that I don't have to move this money from the channel that I have in the first place. And then that would really help us drive it. Because it's about, adoption is all about literacy. It's all about, being able to explain to each other. That's how we've been able to push a lot of things, right? So I think that's the first thing that we need to continue doing. So Simon said it all, but that's the only thing I can add.
Thank you very much. I hope you got that very good explanation. But I'll also give a room after the session to network if you want some more elaboration. Over to you, Emmanuel. Data centers. As we look onto what and how technological advancement can enhance business. What are these data centers and what do they mean to this economy here in Tanzania?
Okay, thank you for the question. So data center, first of all, we're saying part of the investment that Tigo has done, the 1.4 trillion that we have invested in Tanzania over the network for Tigo, part of it has gone into the data center. Now, the data center is where you are equipping your equipment, right, to enable the digital space. So with Tigo Data Center, we have ensured that it is certified and it is Tier 3 certified. And what does it mean by Tier 3 certified? What it means is that everything is redundant in terms of resilience, in terms of power. For example, if one generator fails, you find out the other one can actually take up the load automatically. If one rectifier fails, the rectifier A, there is rectifier B, which can actually still power your system. So our data center, they are fully certified by international certified body. Now, for us, in enabling the digital economy, we work very much with fintechs, we work very much with banks, and we're inviting them onto our data centers for co-location business, for taking spaces in there. You know that as per the BOT requirements, it's mandatory for any company or any bank which is offering financial services to have a redundancy data center. So instead of investing huge sum of money to ensure that you have your own active and redundant data center, Tigo has invested and is collaborating with these financial institutions, with fintechs, to ensure that they give them spaces and places to put their equipment. And in that way, this collaboration, we're enabling the business, we're impacting the business, and we're driving the digital economy forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel Malia, Chief Technical Officer. I'm going to give my panelists 1 minute each of fame to do a wrap-up as we close this session before I do the final wrap-up. So can we start with Josine Anjabi, Head of Innovation and Development at NMB Bank? Just 1 minute, and let's keep it 1 minute. Just say anything you want to say.
So for me, I'm excited. I think we're moving to a digital Tanzania and a digital economy. And as a bank, we're prepared, we're ready. We're ready to partner and collaborate. We're ready to move into more seamless channels that will allow more and more customers to interact within the banking sector, but also really drive the cashless economy.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel.
Thank you. So for me, basically what I want to say as a wrap-up is that we cannot shy away from new technology. We as Tigo will continue embracing new technology, and we are looking forward to it. And on the other hand, we cannot work by ourselves. We need to partner. We are here. We will continue to partner with NMB. We will continue to partner with other banks, and we'll continue to partner with other fintechs in the industry to ensure that we drive forward the advancement of the technology and the whole digital space and the digital economy in general. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Samia?
Yeah, I think my message is to everyone out there in line with and in sync with the theme of Innovation Week. I think the infrastructure is there. The market is huge. It's massive. It's not a one player wins all market. It's very well segmented, and the opportunities are much bigger than people seem to realize. I think instead of trying to replicate what's already out there, what other people are doing, I think take advantage of the infrastructure and the market and the gaps in the market to innovate beyond what's already available. I think when we started our business 15 years ago, we couldn't get a data connection. We couldn't get a public IP address. We had to buy our servers. You've got cloud computing, you've got easy access to communications and connectivity. I think take advantage of that. There's room for maybe 100 more Cellcoms in this market because the market's huge, and by all means we're not the only ones who can solve everything. So go beyond, over and beyond what you're aspiring for.
Thank you very much. I like that. Powerful. Thank you so much. Yes, Mariana.
I would like to reemphasize partnerships and commend Tigo for inviting an NGO to this platform, because I really feel there's a great potential for shared value partnerships in this sector, in the sense of we who reach out to the communities, who understand the community needs, really collaborating with fintechs, financial institutions, in seeing how do we create sustainable solutions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Simon?
Thank you very much. For me, it's really about purpose. I always say that a good purpose will always be profitable. And what we're looking forward to doing as an organization is continuing our purpose to connect and becoming the digital lifestyle organization in Tanzania. I find the digital space in Tanzania really exciting. I think there is some really big blocks that is already in place. If you look at the size of the market, like Samir mentioned, you look at the digital infrastructure, the connectivity potential, and also the fintech adoption. So, for example, the mobile money adoption already in the country is far ahead of anywhere in sub-Saharan Africa. So it gives us a really good foundation to innovate and to grow the digital space. But I will also say that we can only do it through partnership. It's really, really important that all stakeholders, whether it's on the private sector or the public sector, whether it's banks or MNOs or fintech organizations or startups, work together to make sure that we continue to innovate in this space. Thank you.
Asante sana, ladies and gentlemen. A bigger round of applause to our panelists this afternoon. Thank you so much. And for me, a wrap-up, which they've all said, starting with Simon, he spoke about purpose, but the rest spoke about partnership, and Samia spoke about, the fact that, there are more than 60 million Tanzanians. That's the market is so wide. So let's go on to a purposeful partnership to a wider market that is ready to embrace and uphold innovation. The future is very digital, and we should just embrace it, and embracing it through partnerships. And I would really like to end with the famous African statement: if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go further, go together. So thank you very much once again for your contribution. This has been a very powerful, informative session this afternoon. We have a couple of more hours, minutes, or probably to an hour to network, engage, ask questions. But we are here, and once again, thank you so much, Tigo, for the great work you're doing to the economy with this few remarks. I would request all my panelists to come to the front for a line, a group picture, and that will mark the end of this session. And as we take a group picture, am I also a panelist? I am. Ooh, so I should appear also on this picture. Please give us a round of applause. Asante sana. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Asante. Makofi basi jamani, makofi.